Hi, this is my iMac, my 27-inch Intel iMac that's now 10.5 years old, and it's struggling. But as you can see, well, that's a woodpecker.
My ancient version of Lightroom from 1895 does have Denoise AI, thank goodness. But my old Intel Mac cannot run the latest version until I update my OS.
It struggles. Well, it won't even load the program, so it's the same with Final Cut Pro, it's the same with Photoshop and Camera Raw. So this is a bit of an issue. Time for an upgrade. Guess what I'm going to get? Yeah, you probably guessed, the Mac Mini M4 Pro. Yeah, definitely. Which means I have to get another screen, and this screen, as you all know, if you use these Macs, the 27-inch screen is just fantastic. I'm going to get a BenQ 27-inch 4K screen. But we're looking at Denoise AI. Let's see how good it is, shall we?
A regular visitor to our bird feeder is this male great-spotted woodpecker, the ideal subject, although it's rarely still for more than a split second, so I rapidly shot bursts at 11 frames per second, which enabled me to capture a few sharp images, at least. I wasn't going to bother about composition just now, just achieving a sharp image would do very nicely. So I didn't have to wait long for a dull day this winter to crank the ISO all the way up to 6400. Not wanting to go higher, I thought it'd be a good idea to underexpose by 2 stops. Wrong. But it did mean I could use a very fast shutter speed of 1/1250th of a second at f8, which is wide open on my lens, particularly with the teleconverter on. It's never a good idea though to underexpose when there's little light around. It's arguably better to increase the ISO to 25600 and expose correctly, as we'll see later. Regarding noise, a full-frame camera would fare much better at high ISOs than a smaller Fuji APS sensor. The files you're viewing are JPEGs, as the camera does a very good job of reducing digital noise during processing. However, we'll be processing, of course, RAW files to see just how effective Denoise AI actually is. This RAW file was taken a split second after the previous image. In the library module is the data. To see just how noisy this file is, we'll switch to the develop module and zoom in to 400%. Boom! Wow, yes, that's noisy. Doesn't look great, does it? So, time to go down to Denoise. But before I use Denoise AI, let's try manual noise reduction. Certainly improving the noise, but it's making it too soft. And when I increase sharpening, it doesn't look great. So, here we go with Denoise AI. Okay, so a window will open, eventually, with my slow computer. And we can then scroll through to center on the bird's eye AI. And we should see a smooth rendition, which I can assure you is a lot better than the manual version. On the bottom right, it says enhance 2 images, and that's because I have 2 files selected. And of course you can batch process a lot more. You can see the amount of denoise I've selected at 60%, which seems to be a bit of a sweet spot, but you can go either side of that, of course, just experiment. If you wondered where super resolution was hidden, it's here, below, on this template, which we don't need. If I click on this tiny magnifier, it will zoom out to full frame. Then move the plus onto the eye or anywhere else to zoom back in at 400%. Then, if you're happy with that, click Enhance. Now this process on my old Intel Mac may take several minutes, hours or even days. Not really, but it will take a while. Well, that's impressive, and that's without me adding any sharpening. It's all AI. On the left, the process RAW file, and on the right, the in-camera process JPEG. And in the gallery below, some of the underexposed JPEGs really stand out. And here, the before and after RAW files. Yep, Denoise certainly works well. A couple of days later, I decided to have another go, but this time rack the ISO up to 25,600. That should produce some noise, and with correct exposure. Before our woodpecker returns, I grab a couple of shots of a great tit, and this is its tail feathers at 400%. On the left is a JPEG, and on the right, the RAW file, exhibiting noise as you'd expect at 25,600 ISO. But after denoise is applied, wowza! Let's enhance it. And to save you from losing the will to live, I'll edit it. Yep, that's a lot better. Our Woody is back. So I'm shooting at ISO 25600 and this is the raw file in Lightroom. So let's enhance it. And to save you from losing the will to live, I'll edit this part. Yep, that's a lot better. Side by side, it's quite obvious now how effective AI noise reduction really is. Fantastic. Let's again compare manual noise reduction with Denoise AI. To stop the image from going mushy, I'll have to add a shed load of sharpening. Almost 100% in fact, but doing that just introduces artifacts. Well, no contest really, is there?
So there we have it. Denoise AI in Lightroom. It's fantastic, I have to say. I've never really used it before. Wow. So for a first tryout, I was really impressed. So give it a whirl if you use Lightroom. It really is a lifesaver if you have to shoot at ridiculously high ISOs. But the important thing is with photography, really, generally, depending on your subject, make sure your exposure is accurate and use a histogram on the back of the camera. Keep it somewhere in the middle. That's for an average scene. You can go either side. It really depends on what you're shooting. It depends so much on the subject. But anyway, I'm rambling. I'm just going to say ta-ta for now, folks. Thanks for watching and cheers. See you next time.